welcome to our latest Extra Byte event, all about how to optimise your content for AI search. It's been a big subject matter at Extra Mile Digital and in the digital marketing industry for the last 12 to 18 months now. I know our sales team get inundated with calls about how we're helping our clients to become more visible in AI search and how we're reporting on that. So we're here to give you a little bit of insight into that today, talk about what AI search tools there are out there and the different platforms, and hopefully give you some tips to take away in action. So let's get to the Extra Byte. Quick introductions then, if you don't know us already. So I'm Holly Rowe, I'm SEO manager here at Extra Mile Digital. I'm joined by part of my lovely team here. I'll let you introduce yourselves.
I'm Jim, SEO account manager here at Extra Mile as well, focusing on the content side of things in my strategies. But looking forward to sharing some knowledge with you guys today.
And I'm Wayne. I'm one of the account managers as well. I've been here for a few months, I'm sort of more technically minded, but also content focused. So I try and take everything into account if I can.
Yeah, thanks, Wayne. Hi, I'm James. It's good to see some of my clients there. Nice to see you, Simon and Meg. I can see a few others as well. Hi, I'm one of the key account managers here at Extra Mile Digital. Great to see you. We're looking forward to getting stuck into the session.
So let's jump in then. So obviously we have seen a huge transition over the last 12 to 18 months from SEO to GEO, so generative engine optimization, and AEO, answer engine optimization. It's not been a subtle change on the SERPs at all. I think everyone will agree. You go to the SERPs and you never know what you're going to get. Whereas before, it was just your blue links, a couple of sponsored results, and it was a lot more consistent. Whereas it's kind of turned into a bit of a minefield now. And I think if I wasn't working in marketing, I'd probably look at it and go, oh my God, how do we survive out there? Hopefully we can give you a few tips here. But first, so obviously I've just mentioned a few acronyms there. So Wayne, can you explain GEO?
Yeah, simply put, as you said yourself, it's generative engine optimization, which effectively is making sure that your content is being displayed within these sort of these AI models. So there's a big focus around trust and authoritativeness, because it's not just about your blue links anymore. There's so much more that comes into GEO. But it's more of an evolution than something different altogether. So it still relies very much on the SEO fundamentals. But effectively, we're just talking about, sort of trying to make sure that we're being mentioned, that we're visible, and, being cited by the AI models. And ultimately, if you are being cited, then you're already winning because you're already showing up, you're already visible. And this is, just generally how search is evolving overall.
Yeah. So, Jim, tell us the difference between SEO then and AI optimized search. What are the differentiators here?
So there is a bit of a overlap, but the fundamentals are AI search is anything that appears in AI overviews, AI mode, LLMs like ChatGPT, Perplexity, anything like that. But traditional SEO is obviously your blue link stuff where you've got a traditional SERP and you're clicking on results 1 and position 2, etc. Various studies have been released over the past 12 to 24 months talking about decreases in clicks and decreases in traditional search demand. We think that that's about 25% reduction in traditional SEO searches, which is, pretty hefty. So that's where we can start to see the move to people wanting to find answers rather than links. It's probably playing into the fact that people want things now.
And they want things done for them.
Yeah, exactly. They want to find the answer.
That's it. So obviously I mentioned AEO, GEO. James, are they the same thing?
That's a great question, Holly. So obviously Wayne, Jim, technically minded. I keep things a little bit simpler. So let's think of it this way. AEO is answer engine optimization. Okay. And the way we should really think about this is, I would say, in its basic form. Answer engine optimization is purely able to help you appear in voice-assisted search. That's the number one reason this exists. Okay. GEO, there's a lot of acronyms, as Holly has said, is Generative Engine Optimization. Now, what this does, as Wayne mentioned before, this allows you, or it's built and designed for you to appear in Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Atlas, all of these generative engines. That's where you appear in, and that's where you want your brand to feature, ideally.
And providing much longer answers as well.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
So obviously there's quite a few search platforms out there for AI. So is there one that's sort of the most popular and the most used, Wayne?
I think, we've already mentioned a few, and I think it's fair to say we've probably all got our favourites that we tend to use more. It's difficult to kind of pin down which is the most used, because if different sources will tell you different things. I'm sure we've all seen this. But there are certainly three that are worthy of note. Those are the real big players. So if the first one you've got is ChatGPT, which is by OpenAI, which I'm sure everyone's familiar with. It's like usually regarded as being the first one. It's the one that people sort of probably day to day, have a decent understanding of, a bit of a household name, if you like. And it's very commonly used, very sort of, there's general sort of information on there, and it's, it's really good for a lot of different functions. Then of course you've got Google Gemini, which is integrated into all the sort of the Android stuff, all the Android phones. As well as all the Google services, things like workspaces, all the different apps that Google uses, and also Google Search. And recently it's been announced that that's going to be powering Siri as well. So it's ultimately going to end up being one of the sort of the key players in the AI in LLMs. And then you've got Microsoft Copilot, which is the key one that's sort of rolled out and integrated into Windows systems. So again, that's a really big one. But there are a couple of other ones that are worth mentioning. You've got things like Perplexity, Anthropic, which uses Claude, which is really good for like B2B encoding, that sort of thing. It's a bit of a big player in that side of things. And also Meta have got their own. Of course, we've got Twitter that's got its own, X, Grok, and there are several ones, and there are more and more that are coming out each time. But those three are the sort of the big players, and then there's the other ones that have different functions, different formats, and different specialisms, if you like. So it depends on like what you want to use AI for. Might depend on which model you actually end up using.
Finding the one that fits
exactly
the best. So AI overviews and AEO and GEO, Jim, are they the same?
Yes and no. Is that an acceptable answer?
No.
Okay, so let me tell you why. AI overviews are obviously what appears at the top of traditional SERPs now, so search engine results pages. They are powered by Gemini and Google's AI models, of course. So there is a crossover. If you optimize for getting featured into AI overviews, there's a high likelihood that you'll be appearing in Gemini as well. There's a high likelihood that you'll be ticking the boxes for ChatGPT's model as well. So there is a crossover, but they're not exactly the same. It comes down to where people are searching.
Right, okay, got you. And James, do you think that businesses are already optimising for AI overviews and AI search platforms?
Yeah, I do. I think they are. I think when we look at it, if we look at AEO and GEO, I think a lot of businesses now are wanting to sort of feature within this digital referral bracket. So with AEO, a lot of businesses are focusing on appearing within answer engine optimization to help with quick, sort of rapid, succinct answers, whether that's a bit of information about a product line or a price line. But with GEO, as Wayne mentioned just earlier, is that really what you're looking to do is to feature in this generative AI model such as ChatGPT or Gemini and give a lot more detail and be cited, have that citation, have your product, website or service in there. And that's really where the gold dust is for your brand.
Yeah. And I think it was kind of previously assumed that it was more geared towards the B2C market, but I think we've seen that for our clients. That's not really the case. So, Jim, why do you think AI search is so important for businesses in the B2B world?
So the answer to that is twofold. Number one, brand awareness. So if you're appearing in these AI searches, whether that's on the actual LLM profiles or on Google's SERPs, having your brand feature in those alongside other competitors means that you've got, a foothold in the market when people are doing the research.
Yeah.
The second point that it's worth mentioning as well is when people are coming to the site from these AI platforms, they're typically further down the sales funnel. So they're more likely to convert, more likely to engage. And obviously at the end of the day, that's the be all and end all into inquiries, clicking the phone button and the email button. So if we can quantify people coming in from AI searches as being highly engaged, highly likely to convert, then I think that's only positive. Pair that with the brand awareness, and I think AI definitely cannot be missed in B2B strategies, really.
Yeah. And obviously there's so many factors that go into sort of whether you're going to be cited and whether you're going to be present. We'll go into some of those, but one of them is going to be that you need to be a trusted source. So Wayne, how do you become a trusted source?
Yeah, you probably hear this acronym being bandied around more and more, but EEAT is one of the key sort of things that just generally in search we're all trying to focus on more, which is expertise, experience, authority, and trust. I always
gets you.
The two is, and there used to be one E back in the day, but now it's two.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's kind of that, but with a bit of extra sauce sprinkled on top as well. So there's a real focus on the authority and the trust, because AI engines, they understand the answers, they know how to answer questions, but it's about giving them that little bit of extra information as well, that sort of information gain. So if you can provide sort of original research, proprietary data, that sort of thing, expert opinions, this is something that's going to really help you push forward more in these AI models. Because ultimately you're giving it more information, you're giving it more trust, and it's able to sort of see you as being a much more authoritative source overall. And ultimately, if you can sort of keep on pushing that and giving it more information, it's going to take what you say as being better, because it has. I'm trying to think.
Authority, aren't you?
That's it. Yeah. So it's seen as an authority, but it's also it's original information. It's not something that's you're not just quoting Wikipedia or something like that. Because if you're going to say if you're going to say the same as what's on Wikipedia, then everyone's just going to, it's going to show what Wikipedia says. If you can give it something different and something original, then you're much more likely to show up overall.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you've got to look for opportunities on websites as well, because I think a lot of our clients and a lot of potential clients, anyone who's watching, your website's probably got quite a lot of the foundation there. It's quite easy to optimize what you've already got. So it's about looking at which pages you've got that perform well for SEO already. You've already got that foundation. What can you add to it? So it's about knowing those little snippets that you need to add in. So say, if you've got quite a long page with a lot of information, add in that summary right at the top, add in search terms into headings, having headings that are questions and then answering straight away, things like that, and data in tables, comparison tables, things like that, where you can add in quotations from experts in the industry. I feel like there's so much scope there that's quite easy for you to do. I think as well, you've got content clusters and internal linking. Jim, do you want to talk a little bit about those?
Just going back a second as well, it sounds overly technical when we say all these acronyms and expertise, experience, authority, and trust. It sounds technical, but the reality is it's quite straightforward to implement once you know what you're doing. There's a lot of things that you'll have on sites at the moment that demonstrate this authority and demonstrate the trust already. So it's about honing in on them. Now to the question, content clusters. So content clusters are a really good way of demonstrating topical authority, which is something that LLMs and Google loves, essentially. So if you are operating in one field and you want to push a particular product, having 4 or 5 supporting blogs around that, focused on different kinds of angles or different ways into the topic, writing about them in a consistent tone, demonstrating these EEAT points in there is a great way of boosting the actual product that you're writing about. So how do you do that? You write it with a unique aspect, like Wayne was mentioning, and then you link through to the different products as well. So you pass in something called, and this is an SEO term, link juice from particular blogs through to the product pages. Link juice is kind of the power that Google sees. Page power. Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. And I think as well, you've got to look at beyond the website as well, because you know, AI uses more than just your website. Your website is a great place to start, but you've also got to think about your socials.
Yeah.
You know, what are you putting out on your socials is consistent with the tone of voice and your messaging. Also your Google business profile as well. Is that up to date? Is it accurate? Have you got good reviews? Because reviews are a good one as well.
Especially for local SEO searches.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's somewhere to look. Wikipedia, if you've got a Wikipedia page for your business, is that accurate? Have you got really good unique information in there as well? It all adds to your knowledge graph, which is kind of like a structure of data that links everything semantically online, and you kind of want to make sure you've got all the dots linked up. So we've spoken about content. What about technical? Wayne, is it still important that we should be focusing on technical in all of this AI noise?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's probably at least as important, or you know, in some senses even more important these days, because you've not just got to think about the fact that Google is trying to access and crawl your site anymore, and you know the various sort of different search engine bots. You've also got all these different LLM models that are out there crawling your site as well. So making sure that your internal linking is all up to scratch, that your content's accessible, making sure that you're not sort of overly heavy with JavaScript and things like that, because that's going to, you know, just steer things away. They're not going to be as interested. It's page speed is a factor as well. You know, all these things sort of play into it, you know, so those, like, as I said at the very beginning, those SEO fundamentals that we need to make sure that sites are working need to be applied to AI optimization as well.
Yeah.
And of course, the more information that you can give the models as well, the better they'll be able to represent you. So things like schema for organization, that sort of thing, those are all really important factors.
Yeah.
But so ultimately, like if your technical SEO isn't up to scratch, you're effectively just shutting the door straight away to any of these AI models. Yeah. You know, so you could have the best content in the world out there that's fully optimized, but if it's not accessible, then you're never going to be seen, you're never going to be cited.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want to make sure that those technical SEO foundations are all there, and then build everything else on top of that.
Absolutely. I think Core Web Vitals as well. You might have heard us talk about Core Web Vitals before, especially if you're a client of ours. Even if you go and check your top 5 pages on the site, if you Google page speed insights, it'll take you to a website and you can just put the URL in and it'll show you whether you're passing or failing Core Web Vitals. So you want to be looking at your mobile performance, because obviously Google's mobile first indexing.
Yeah.
And then speak to your developer if it's failing, so that they can have a look at what you can be doing to sort of just make sure that you are performing where you need to be.
For the SEO savvy people who are watching, it's worth noting that good SEO comes from all of these things, as does good AEO.
Yeah.
There's a very strong crossover between good SEO and good AEO as well.
Absolutely. We touched on it earlier, but let's talk about conversions, because ultimately that's the goal, isn't it? Either, you know, inquiry forms, phone calls, emails, products, you know, purchases. Obviously, AI overviews a lot of the time can be quite top of the funnel. So, James, how do businesses get people to their sites who are maybe lower down in that funnel?
Yeah, I mean, when you're lower down in that funnel, there's a lot of, you're almost at the point then, really, aren't you, of sort of making a purchase or that sort of real consideration phase. And I think one of the things that you have to consider with this is that, first of all, if you, I can touch on this a bit later on, but AI, GEO, AIO, AEO has sort of dominated this middle ground where it's becoming a trusted source. So when you appear in these models, what effectively you're saying to this people that are searching for you is that you're being endorsed by the likes of Gemini, ChatGPT, and this is a really strong and powerful indicator. And I think, if I'm right in saying, I could be corrected on this, but actually the data does show that if you are cited in AI, you are more likely to see conversions than you would in any other channel, whether it's PPC or SEO. So I think as long as you feature in there, listen to what obviously Wayne, Hol and Jim have said in terms of incorporating EEAT, incorporating this schema language, which is markup behind a page, which gives Google more context about the service or product you have. That's critical. So I think if you can get to that point and be a recommended, trusted source, you're going to be in a very good place.
Yeah, absolutely. Big question, Jim. Is AI search a conversion driver in your opinion?
100%.
Yeah.
I think James took every word out of my mouth.
Sorry, buddy.
No, you've nailed it, mate.
First time.
Yeah, you absolutely can't be neglected from any B2B strategy. It needs to work alongside PPC and work alongside social media and work alongside traditional SEO. I think we could go on to a little bit more later on about the multi-channel approach to everything as well. So no spoilers on that part.
Yeah, love it.
So Wayne, in your opinion, is AI optimization worth it? Have you seen some good results for clients?
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely is. I mean, at the end of the day, like where we come into this, like from our point of view, is as the guys have mentioned, like people who are already sort of seeing your information within these AIOUs, when it comes to actually converting, they're already further down that funnel anyway. They're already at the stage where they've done their research, they're ready to go, they're ready to click, they're ready to make an inquiry. And the fact of the matter is, it's not going away. This is something that's only going to become more and more prominent.
Yeah.
Like at the moment, like the sort of the amount of traffic coming through to websites from these LLMs is relatively low. But as James mentioned, and he was correct in saying the conversion rate is a lot higher.
Yeah.
So yeah, like ultimately we are seeing the figures, and I think Jim mentioned it earlier that traditional search is dropping off by around 25%, and it seems to be that in more and more cases these AI models are taking over, and there's different browsers now that have it integrated, like Atlas, as James mentioned. So it's becoming a much more prominent thing. So ultimately, it's where we need to be thinking about for the future going forward, because this is the future of search. This is the future of marketing.
Yeah, and ultimately,
the future is now.
Yeah. And if your competitors are doing it, then you're
Exactly.
only going to get left behind.
Yeah. Exactly.
You're just losing those opportunities that are right there in front of you, which we've said are potentially quite easy to get.
Yeah, they are.
And traditionally, it's been quite hard to report on it as well, hasn't
Yeah.
it? But yesterday, actually, Microsoft released a AI report into Bing. So obviously Bing is quite a big search engine, relatively speaking, not compared to Google and things, but it is taken off. So if we can see data on there, it gives us a good indication of where to optimize, what might be performing well on other platforms as well. So and so kind of watch this space on the reporting software at the moment.
Absolutely. And the tools that we're looking into here, we've definitely spent the last couple of months looking at what tools are out there that are available, that are going to show visibility, opportunities, threats. And different prompts and stuff that we can be optimizing for our clients as well.
We just need Google to implement it into Search Console.
Yeah.
This is the start of a petition to make that happen.
Yes, if you could all help.
Vote now.
Yeah. But Google works on its own time, so we won't hold our breath. We won't hold our breath. Okay, so Wayne, how do you ensure that you can frame your content then so that it's sort of scraped efficiently and effectively and accurately?
Yeah. I mean, it's as we've already mentioned, like it's not rocket science. There's nothing that we're doing that's out of the ordinary in terms of preparing for these sorts of things. But there are a few things that we can focus on. So, for example, avoiding fluff at the start of articles and things like that. If we can get straight to the point, then that's going to help the AI sort of pick up what the information that it needs straight away. And as I mentioned before, using original data, using expert opinion, that sort of thing. These are all things that are going to help those additional trust signals as well. And then another thing to think about as well is not just what you're saying about yourselves, but what people are saying about you as well. So sentiment is really important. And I mean, I think we are all doing a top tip later on, but I think a top tip for now is just to have a look at, like, we talk about Googling yourself. Have a look at yourself in these AI models as well. Put your business in there. Find out what it knows about you currently. And
good shout.
Ultimately, like, figure out what your sentiment is. And if there's anything that's wrong in there, then it's time to start setting the record straight.
Nice.
And sort of pushing for that straight away. So yeah, that's probably something that's worth doing. Like this morning after this, so finish watching us and then have a go.
In terms of like web page structure, I think it's important to maintain a good hierarchical structure, if that's a word. Having the
hierarchical,
having the header tags in order is obviously such a quick win, and having everything structured properly on the page and supported by schema as well.
Schema's a big one. It's very technical. If you're not familiar with it, it's something that we all do for our clients here, but it basically spoon feeds the crawlers all of the information about your page. So whether that's about your company or whether that's a specific product page, you can add lots of this data into the back end of your page to spoon feed the information. So we always say schemas for the AI crawlers and for Google crawlers, and then the actual content on the front end of the page is for the humans. But it's really important that you have both of those going on at the same time to support SEO and AI.
Lovely. Sound like old McDonald's.
I know, there's too many. So ultimately then, James, big question. Should people stop doing SEO to focus on AI?
Goodness no. But if there's one message you take from this, is do not stop SEO. In fact, what I would say is two things. One, I'd actually look at evolving your SEO strategy first. Towards obviously a more sort of coherent AI-led strategy. But we must remember, as Jim and Wayne and Hol have already said, your SEO powers your AI efforts. If you get rid of it, you're basically stymieing yourself immediately. AI needs to scrape your schema. It needs to scrape the content that's on your page. It needs to understand exactly what it is you're talking about. You have to be able to be present, but at the same time, incorporate these new models such as expertise, experience, authority, and trust in your writing. Make sure it's well formatted, easy to read, succinct, clear. That's critical. And once you've done that, then the crawlers will start going through your product and making sure that obviously that you feature in these generative engine platforms. If you don't do it, your competition will. So you need to stay on top of this, because I can guarantee that they'll be looking at it now. So that's how we can help you by, ensuring that you have an SEO strategy that's fit, as Wayne said, for today and tomorrow. It's critical.
Yeah, and something that I wanted to mention earlier but forgot when it came up is that staying in your lane is really important as well. So when you're putting yourself forward as an authority, it's really important to make sure that you keep on sort of just feeding it that information that really kind of pushes you forward as that authority. So rather than trying to be a jack of all trades, you really need to focus on what your strengths are as a business, what makes you unique, and just keep on pushing that forward and just building that authority through informative content over time.
Definitely.
Perfect. Amazing. So has anyone got any questions that they want to pop in the chat for us, and we can do our best to answer as many as we can?
We'll do our best, won't we?
Do our best.
Yeah. We'll pull it out the hat.
See if any comes through. Unless my chat's broken and there's just loads that are already there. Can't see any at the moment.
We've always got some tips, haven't we, to
go through. Yeah, should we do tips now? But we'll give you all a minute if you've got any questions to ask us. We'll give the boys will give you the tips
The boys.
to take away. I know, the boys.
I'll take that any day of the week.
Jim, what's your top tip from today?
My top tip is to do video content, and it really ties into the multi-channel approach to it all.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on Google, you open the AI mode, and at the bottom there's always some YouTube shorts or some Instagram reels cited in the AI mode.
Yes.
If you're answering FAQs and all of that kind of thing in a video, it's not great for social. Well, it is great for social. It's not just great for social. It's great for your search strategy as well.
Yeah.
So tie that together as well. I think you have a question.
Oh.
Jackson? Did you want to ask? Oh, okay, got a question. Oh, okay, we can't hear you. Type it in the chat, and I'll read it out.
Perfect. What's your tip, Wayne?
Yeah,
what is it,
what's
Wayne?
yours while we're waiting for
Well,
questions?
It's probably obvious, but I'd say ignore tech at your peril. You've got to make sure that the door's open for all these different crawlers, and that they're able to access your information. Because as I said before, the best content in the world is doing nothing if it's not accessible, if it's not readable.
Yeah.
Ignore tech at your peril. Just keep it in your strategy, and just make sure that those foundations are all there, ready to be built on by everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the LLMs can execute JavaScript yet, can they?
At the moment,
if
they
anything's
struggle
hidden
with it.
behind like an accordion or something, it wouldn't be script, much like Google.
Yeah, they struggle with it a little bit. Yeah.
James?
Right. Okay. My tip is I'll keep this one simple. So if you write content in-house, you're doing it in your business. What I would suggest you do now is look at the way it's structured, but also have a think about what data you can incorporate into this content, and also maybe think about the way you present that data or information. These GEO and AEOs, they like tabular sort of content. They like to see things in tables. I'd also recommend adding a too late, didn't read summary at the top of your content, so that can sort of be parsed really quickly by these bots. And also maybe a summary at the bottom, and obviously include call to actions too. So you can already take the content you've got and just shape it and mold it into a more sort of AI friendly piece of content. So that would be my quick win tip for today.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And just adding to that as a separate tip as well, if you got an answer to a question, incorporate the question into your headings as well.
Yeah.
Because then it'll pick up on that straight away. So when someone asks a similar question, it can go, yeah, here it is on this page, and there's the answer that I need to give.
Yeah. Perfect. I haven't had any questions through on the chat. Is that right? If you have a question, maybe speak up. I'm just worried that this isn't coming through. That's all. No. Okay. Well, if you think of any, there's one that's come through. Here we go. What metrics do you think matter most when it comes to measuring GEO efforts? That's
Good question.
Great question, Leo. Who wants that one?
Would you say at the moment is visibility? Do you think visibility is a key sort of metric to look at here?
I think so. Yeah, I think
absolutely.
Impressions from an AI
I would
suggest. Point of view.
Yeah.
And then you can track it on GA4 as well, using a custom report.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then on there you can track the engagement rate. So making sure the engagement rate of those sessions being as high as possible is probably a good one as well. So engagement rate from those, impressions.
I think key events, if you're filtering traffic from there to a key conversion page, for sure. But I think we need to, we could talk about attribution, but that's definitely a bigger piece.
Yeah,
that's a whole separate one.
That's a whole different extra bite. I'd agree with you there.
Yeah. I think as well, when it comes to metrics as well, we need to understand as well how the metrics that we're used to seeing are evolving as well. So one of the things that we're seeing a lot is more impressions but less clicks. So click-through rates are going down because we're more used to what we call zero-click answers. So people are able to get a lot of the information that they would normally have gotten from clicking your blue link just there in the box already, or in these different models. So yeah, that's something that generally speaking we're seeing across the board is, click-through rates are going down, the number of clicks that we're seeing are going down. And that's not really something to be worried about. It's something that, like I say, is happening across like the whole sphere of in SEO, in reporting. So yeah, it's not something to be concerned about when it comes to reports going forward. Just bear in mind that people are searching and accessing information in different ways now, and that's something that's just going to continue to evolve.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you think about that 25% decrease in traditional search, that's a 25% decrease that you can see in your clicks and impressions as well. So,
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah.
Another question that we've had. So, for a company that uses a global website, do you think this has a way of affecting each branch's site's SEO? Say companies with minds.co.uk, minds.com, mimes.co.fr. How does that impact one individual web SEO if they share the same blogs?
It's a good question.
Yeah, it is. I think the first point on that is each country's SERP will be completely different to another one's. So I think there's even countries where AI mode might not even
exist.
So I would say do SERP analysis, number one, even before keyword research, maybe, just so that you can understand the kind of sphere that you're working with. I completely agree. I'd say one of the things to focus on as well is not just a simple translation, but also localization. Because certain idioms, may not be used in different languages that we do use in, if we're sort of using like an English master copy and then we're just translating that, we need to think about the sort of the transcreation, transliteration, that sort of thing, and making sure that we're using the terms that people will understand, which is a bit of from experience of working with companies that have different things, sometimes words that you might use in English just don't translate into other languages in the same way, or they might mean a different thing. And of course, that's all going to play into what comes through in these AI overviews. I've not had a look at how sort of the different models handle different languages, but from what I've seen, there's definitely that they definitely have the ability to crawl and understand all these different languages too. So just make sure that what you're saying is what you actually mean to say.
I think there's sentiment there as well in different countries as well, because your brand sentiment may be different in one country to the next. So doing a bit of research on that side of things as well could have an effect. You might need to change your messaging and your tone of voice. It could be all sorts that goes into that one. So it would be a big research process, really, I would say, on that one.
Definitely.
Perfect. I've not had any more questions through, so I think that's it. So thank you so much for joining us this morning for our latest Extra Bite. So if you want to know anything else about AI search, AI strategies, please pick up the phone or pop us an email. We're happy to chat about it. Keep an eye out for our next Extra Bite as well. And we've also started our Digital Mile podcast now as well. So if you head over to YouTube or Spotify and search for Extra Mile Digital, you'll find our profiles on there, and you'll see the latest 2 episodes on there. We've got a couple more that we've recorded that are ready to go out. So keep your eye out for those.
I think we've just had a question come through.
Oh.
So it might be worth just having a quick look.
What tools are there to measure AI search for web? So this is what we are looking into at the moment. So obviously you've got SEMrush has its own little AI SEO area that's like its own little add-on tool, which we've tested, which it does a good job, to be honest. So there's that. We're looking into a few different ones at the minute. I'm trying to think.
Doesn't Google Search Console now report on AI, or is that Google Analytics? Do they report on AI? Bing does it.
Search Console is pending.
Is it?
Hopefully.
Okay. It's the data's not segregated at the moment. there are certain things that you can try and do, like looking at sort of longer tail searches, that sort of thing. They may be more geared towards sort of AI overuse, AI search, but at the moment the data's not segregated, so it's really difficult to to get a good grasp of it. But yeah, there are tools that are coming through.
They're evolving though, aren't they?
Yeah, they're
evolving, growing with AI. So
Yeah.
it's an evolution and a process, I think, with a lot of these tools.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's playing catch up as well. Like it's
Yeah.
not something that's easy to do.
No.
So a lot of like the big players at the moment are trying to figure out the best way to do it and to do it accurately.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem, is that they're maybe not as accurate as we'd like them to be. A lot of these tools,
Correct.
there is a lot of sort of bloat and that sort of thing, and hallucinations and that sort of thing that can come through. So,
but it gives you a good idea. I think it's the best idea that anyone's got
exactly
of the landscape and the opportunities and the visibility. So I feel like we'll see a lot more popping up over the next 12 months. That we'll be looking into here for sure.
Cool.
Perfect.
KPIs.
What KPIs to keep an eye on about when measuring search? Yeah, so visibility.
Yeah,
absolutely is a cool one there. And your impressions.
Impressions,
as well.
engagement rate.
Yeah,
big ones. I would for the time being.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then as Jim said as well, you can do custom reporting to see where what traffic's coming through from LLMs, and if that traffic's actually converting as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. If you've got any more questions, then we'll leave you there. But like I say, pick up the phone, drop us an email if you need any more information at all. If you want to chat with us, you know where we are. Perfect. Have a good day, guys.
Thank you.
See you.
Thanks
for
everyone.
joining. Bye.
Bye.